At the historic 2021 National Sports Collectors Convention, I was on a mission. My goal? To figure out the origins of our beloved rookie card. You ready? Well, let's do it. Hello everyone, Victor, the rookie card specialist here on YouTube, and I am thrilled about today's topic. You see, the rookie card boom of the 1980s is a known era. But this rookie card boom was the birth per se, and it's well documented in hobby history. What isn't well documented is what happened before that. I wanted to know about its inception. I wanted to know the moment it was conceived into an idea within the hearts and minds of collectors. My game plan was to interview the older dealers at the National. Those who have been collecting for 40 or 50 plus years. Now here's the thing with all this. I've searched the internet, print publications, and even hobby forums and found absolutely nothing on the topic. So I had to rely on the testimonies of collectors and dealers who were around prior to 1980. The interviews? Well, let me begin by saying this. Because of time restraints, I had to change my plan. I went in with about 5 questions, but I quickly realized I had to narrow it down to just one. So after introducing myself and explaining what I'm doing, I asked these gentlemen this question. What is your earliest recollection of the rookie card? When and how did you learn about it? Now I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is these guys were very excited to talk about this. And once I got them going, I was able to really sense their passion for cards begin to shine through. And this part of it was just absolutely fantastic. The bad news is the very first couple of guys were very hesitant about being recorded. The first guy told me straight out no, and the second guy seemed to go quiet once I brought that up. So I got the hint very quickly and didn't bother asking again. Now, I had no pen or paper with me, so I quickly decided to record my notes at the end of our conversation. So I would take my phone and I made like a voice memo. And here's a sample of one. I'm starting to notice though, as soon as I start taking cameras out or asking to record, these older guys, they don't... I don't think they like it personally, so I'm respecting that, and I'm just doing face-to-face interviews and then recording my thoughts immediately afterwards here. The lineup. Let's talk about the lineup. I first spoke with Jim from 707 Sports Cards, and he was very insightful about this era and this topic. He was a lot of help. I spoke with another gentleman. I didn't catch his name, but he was setting up at the booth of Black Jade Wolf. He had been in the hobby for 65 years. Can you imagine that? That is just absolutely fantastic to be able to speak to somebody with that much hobby experience. I also spoke with Paul from Don's Sports Card Center in Maine. He has a card shop up in Maine. He was very helpful, very knowledgeable. I spoke with a gentleman by the name of B.A. Murray. Now, B.A. here, man, this guy, he's perhaps my favorite of everybody. He just had some hobby stories, and man, we had such a great conversation, and he was so extremely knowledgeable, and it was just amazing to me, the detail of the stories that this guy just remembered. It was just absolutely amazing. But he's also been set up at the National every year since its inception. He had a ribbon even. I also spoke with John Ramirez, who also has been set up at every National. And everyone I spoke to, it seemed to point me towards John Ramirez. Now, the problem with John Ramirez is that he was very hard to talk to. Either he was busy with a customer or he literally, listen to this, he literally had a line of people waiting to talk to him. And so I decided I was just going to catch him the next day. Well, the following day came. I stepped up to the booth and he still had a line of people wanting to talk to him. Now, B.A., whose table is right next to John's, BA knew what I was there for, and so BA and I started talking again. We had about another 30 to 45-minute conversation, and finally BA went over and tapped John on the shoulder and kind of brought John over into our conversation. And it was at that moment I was able to talk to John about the topic at hand. Now I can see why everybody was pointing me to John Ramirez, because as I was looking at older hobby publications, doing some research inside of the old Trader Speaks or the Sport Hobbyist and the multitude of other hobby publications from the 70s, you see John Ramirez plastered all over these hobby publications. And he's just a pillar in the hobby. And what a privilege it was to speak to these gentlemen. Another gentleman I had the privilege of speaking to about this topic was Dr. James Beckett. Now, I did miss Jim at the National, but I was able to talk to him about this via Zoom chat, and he was very helpful in sharing his insights. Rich Klein, it's another guy I missed at the National, but I was able to reach out to Rich, and we talked about it via email, and he was very helpful. Bobby Burrell, also a good friend of mine, longtime hockey historian. He was able to share some of his insights with me as well. A heartfelt thank you to all these men for their experience and willingness to talk about it. Now, with all the preliminaries out of the way, let's look at our featured presentation. And be sure to stick around, because afterwards, I'll be giving some closing thoughts. Now, without further ado, here is Rookie Cards, The Origin Story. Enjoy. In the beginning, the emergence of the rookie card was a slow and steady one. Rookie cards were not a part of the hobby fandom like they are today. However, it has been a part of hobby lingo since the early 60s. In basketball, the term rookie can be first spotted on cards starting in 1990. In football, the term rookie first appeared in 1987. In hockey, you can go as far back as 1961 before the term rookie made its debut on a cardboard. But in baseball, however, you can go back further to 1960. In the beginning, the term rookie was nothing more than a design element. In fact, when collectors made reference to them, they were referred to as a player's first card. It wasn't referred to as a rookie card until the mid-1970s, but more on that in just a moment. This next part is key. To understand the origins of the rookie card, we need to understand the evolution of card shows. For this next portion, I'd like to share with you my sources. I found an extremely useful member of the Net54 baseball forums. David Kathman cataloged several articles of the hobby publication Trader Speaks, which detailed how card shows got started. I also purchased several copies of the Sport Hobbyist and Trader Speaks as well. What I found was this. Two people influenced the formation of sports card conventions as we know them. Jim Noel of California held the first of many mini conventions out of his home starting in July of 1969. These early card shows were by invite only. Officially, they were called conventions, which didn't make sense to me, but it's simply another way of saying meeting or show. Now, Dennis Gray of Detroit went to California and attended Noel's convention and was really inspired to do one of his own. So Dennis and a group of his friends organized one in October of 1969 in Detroit. Now, groups like these started popping up all over the country. They met in homes, basements, or hotels, but they were private gatherings. That first Detroit gathering that Dennis started was so successful, a 6-man committee was formed in the spring of 1970. The goal? Make plans for a large-scale convention and open it up to everyone at a public place. They succeeded. On the weekend of September 12, 1970, at the downtown Detroit Hilton Hotel, the first ever Midwest Sports Collectors Convention was held and open to the public. The show was so successful, Everyone on the committee vowed to do it again the following year, and each year after that, the convention grew in momentum and attendance. This success didn't stay in Detroit. From this first public convention in Detroit birthed other public conventions. In New York in 1972, Chicago in 1973, Anaheim, California in 1974, and Philadelphia in 1975. These annual shows evolved with celebrity guest signings, live auctions, and many even had television and newspaper coverage. Simply stated, one can say this: the 1970s was the era of collector conventions, or should I say, the card show boom. Now picture this. By 1974, sports collectors conventions are at a peak. Sky's the limit, and this train is running on all cylinders. Something else happened in 1974. Now I'll give you a hint. The sport is baseball, and something very special happened on April 8th, 1974. Did you figure it out? On this day, Hammerin' Hank Aaron hit his 715th home run off Al Downing of the LA Dodgers in front of 53,775 people. The event captivated the world as Babe Ruth's home run record was now broken. It captivated the attention of collectors too. The demand was for any baseball card featuring Hank Aaron. Now here's where things get really interesting. The demand for Hank Aaron's cards carried over into 1975, and very subtly, a group of collectors, or dare I say investors, began asking for the first card of Hank Aaron. Now this trend started presumably in New York and Philadelphia. When asked, dealers would show potential customers all of their Hank Aaron cards, but these savvy collectors were specifically looking for the first card. Dealers started to notice too, so they started looking for and buying up these first cards of Aaron. And by 1977, this Hank Aaron rookie was selling for a whopping $12. This trend slowly gained momentum, and within a year's time, the concept moved west, as more collectors shopped for this first card of Aaron at every convention. Another ball player was emerging and caught the attention of some collectors. Pete Rose and the success of the Cincinnati Reds winning World Series titles in 75 and 76 also drew the attention for Pete Rose's first card. Now, dealers attest with Pete Rose is when the terminology switched from the first card to rookie card. Perhaps because the card collectors were looking for boldly displayed the word as you see here. These cards were pursued by savvy collectors, but the concept hadn't gone mainstream yet. This was all in the early stages. I think these collectors made sure to not bring too much attention to what they were shopping for. By 1977, the rookie card gains a bit more momentum, as collectors were not just looking for the rookie cards of veteran all-stars, but of an actual rookie ball player. Enter Mark Fredrich, rookie pitcher for who else but the Detroit Tigers, the home of the Midwest Sports Collectors Convention between 1970 and 1978, which we referenced earlier. Year after year, slowly but very surely, the rookie card gained more and more momentum. Eddie Murray in 1978, Ozzie Smith in 79, Ricky Henderson in 80, Fernando Valenzuela in 1981 swept North America with excitement for his rookie cards. This pregnancy of the rookie card continued through 82 and 83, each year getting bigger and bigger within the hobby. I view it this way. Instead of a 9-month pregnancy, it was a 9-year pregnancy. Then it happened. The hobby officially gave birth to the rookie card boom of 1984. And the hobby has forever been impacted by the rookie card. Well, all this reaffirms a belief that I have. When you look at how the rookie card has evolved, and when you look at its impact within the hobby, from its inception to now, my opinion is the rookie card is the most important and impactful card in the hobby. In an interview I watched with Michael Jordan, he was asked, "Are you the greatest of all time?" MJ's response was this: Trying to figure out the greatest of all time is more for PR, selling stories, and hype. I never played against Wilt Chamberlain or Jerry West. Not to say one is greater than the other is unfair because it's different. He goes on to say, and here's the part I want us to grasp. When you see similarities in players, this is how you can judge the two. How much impact did each player have in evolving the game? You see, if you ask me the question, is the rookie card the greatest card of all time? I would spin the question this way. How much impact has the rookie card have in evolving the hobby? You see, its impact spans decades. It's pursued by the majority. Its monetary values have the potential to change lives. It has survived threats of economic collapse, recessions, and pandemics. It's beloved by the young and the old, the rich and the poor, regardless of race or gender. Its history, as you see here, is birthed from community, friendships, and gatherings. The origins of the rookie card is deeply rooted in hobby tradition. This is why, in my opinion, it should be respected and protected by us, the hobby. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider tapping that like button. Something else I'd like for you to consider. If you enjoy this topic, please consider subscribing. I'd love to welcome you to this community. Here, if you haven't noticed yet, it's all about the rookie card. We look at its past and present day status, all in an effort to better understand this hobby icon. Now here's how I'm going to leave you. So the video link to your left is the history of the rookie card, which picks up where this video left off. And the video to your right will be the 10 commandments of the rookie card. With all of that said, thank you for your time, and I'll catch you on the next one.